Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the podcast. Here you'll find my incoherent ramblings, my poorly thought out ideas, and any other terrible stories I might remember. This is meant as a continuation of my blog, which I haven't posted to in a few years. So hopefully I'll be updating this. Maybe I'll make one once or twice a month. We'll see. I have no clue yet. It all depends on how lazy I am. I haven't updated this, or I guess I haven't updated anything because I haven't made this yet. But you get what I mean. Since probably 2013, 2014. So hopefully 2017 will be a good change. 2012, I graduated college and went into a bunch of shit. That was good. So I won't go into that right now. You know. Anyway, I bought a new recording interface and I listened to a lot of podcasts at work, so I decided, why don't I just start one? And maybe this is a good thing, maybe it's a bad thing. Either way, it's happening. It's funny though, because I used to make fun of my dad for listening to talk radio, and now I'm listening to it regularly and making it. So basically, everything I went to college for gets used about an hour a week during my free time, and nothing I've done for work since has anything to do with it. I went to school for recording, and I work in a pharmacy, and have worked payroll and retail. My second job out of college is most easily described as listening to hold music for insurance companies for 8 hours straight, and because of that, I've had a few ideas like a nightclub that plays nothing but hold music. I'd probably recognize the music better than most regular clubs, but I think I'd probably be the only one that's on board for this idea. I used to think maybe it'd be cool to make something to replace hold music with something to help you learn a new language or any kind of educational tool, but I'm lazy and I don't think I care anymore because that sounds like a lot of work and I don't have any kind of resources to make something like that. I have a ton of great ideas, and as I said, I'm just lazy and never write things down or do anything with the ideas. I mean, I could probably be a writer for BuzzFeed. I can make plenty of dumb lists with pictures, like 27 ice cream sandwiches that just ain't having it, or this quarter is worth 25 cents and everyone's losing their minds, or maybe Kim Kardashian's butt is on fleek. Yes, will restore your faith in humanity, but make your soul cry. You know, any of that kind of shit gets posted and those people make money for it, so why can't I? Anyway, I also have a lot of ideas for TV shows and movies that really should have existed for years already. A few years ago, I created the idea for Truth Dog. It's D-A-W-G, and maybe there's an exclamation point. He's like Scruff McGruff, except all he does is enter the room when someone is speaking the truth. He walks in to delivers his catchphrase, "Truth Dog has entered the room." Then he stands there awkwardly for a few seconds, and poops. Then he walks out of the room. My next TV show idea comes from watching Telemundo with my brother and not being able to speak Spanish. The show's called Baby Pope and Drunk Dad. I honestly have no idea what the show was about that we were watching, but I assumed it was about a baby who happened to be the Pope and his father who happens to be an alcoholic. Pretty self-explanatory. They would go on wacky adventures, because I think adventures are required by law to be wacky. Speaking of wacky, and babies, my next idea was actually called Whack-Ass Baby. It's about a sassy baby who is whack. The title's in all caps with an exclamation point, of course, and it's on the CW. That's about as much as I thought into it. Maybe the baby is played by Eddie Murphy, dressed as Norbit, dressed as a baby, dressed as, Medea, dressed as a baby, dressed as Kevin James, dressed as a baby who is whack. Most importantly, they have to be whack. I mean, anyway, next idea. My other idea has probably been done by now, but I think people would enjoy Dad's Bop if it doesn't exist already. Dad's Bop is just like Kids Bop, only it's way better because it's just popular songs sung by dads with the wrong words and wrong notes. My dad could make an entire series of them on his own because he regularly sings the words to AC/DC songs wrong, like instead of Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap, he thinks it's Dirty Deeds Thunder Chicks. And instead of DMX saying Up in Here, apparently it's actually Pump and Jam. He went through a phase where he kept whistling the tune to Talk Dirty to Me, and it sounded kind of like circus music more than the actual song, but it's still not really a song you want to hear your dad whistling because it's kind of gross. I think I found my father funnier and funnier as I've gotten older, and I can't tell if it's because he's gotten dumber or I am getting dumber, in case in point. He always calls me an asshole, and to be fair, I am. But I think I got it from him. I guess if my life were a TV show, my dad would be kind of like the Kramer character that busts into the room at random times to yell things like, "Hey, what stinks?" When we were kids, he'd tell us things like, "You don't get a happy meal, you get a sad meal," which is just a regular meal that doesn't have a toy. But now, my dad gives me pretty great life advice and tips. Like, one time he told me, "You know, I feel if you wear bigger clothes, you don't feel as fat. Good strategy, huh?" And he was right about that. Wearing bigger clothes definitely does make me not feel as fat. Probably because they're not, tight, but it's a pretty good advice, I guess, right? Recently, we played some Nickelodeon-themed quiz game, and the characters he remembers from Kenan and Kel are apparently Kelbert and Big Kelbert. And Eliza Thornberry's special ability is glasses. Just glasses. On his shopping list, when I used to live at home, he'd write down things like, "Ian, Yogurt." And as gross as Ian Yogurt sounds, I don't know why he puts a U in yogurt, but he consistently does it. I haven't gone grocery shopping with him in a long time, and one of those reasons is also because he farts while walking and makes comments about people that they can pretty easily hear from maybe like a foot or two away. One time, he threw a package of toilet paper at me and asked if I like SpongeBob sport pants. At the dinner table, he once said to me, "Eat your scrotum corn." And when I asked him what the hell scrotum corn was, he said, "I meant rectum corn." Which, I don't know how rectum corn is really any better than scrotum corn, but that's my dad's logic. He really doesn't understand music, particularly anything I work on. He's supportive in his own strange way, though, and he once bought me a dulcimer from Goodwill. Now, he has no idea what the hell a dulcimer was. He just saw a stringed instrument and thought it looked cool and kept referring to it as a zipper phone. Where he got the word zipper phone from, I still don't know, but I'm pretty sure he still calls it that. He has become more tech savvy in the past few years, though, because I haven't really been at home much to help with things. He recently texted my siblings and I a picture of Pikachu and said, "I have found all the emojin," and his phone is newer than mine. I guess he knows how to text, but still says, "Who you emailing?" anytime I'm using my phone. I think I should really get more of my dad's interpretations to make into kids' books. There was one time when he couldn't remember the name Paul Bunyan, so he just referred to him as Joe the Oxman. I think Joe the Oxman sounds like a great character. I don't know what the hell he's supposed to be, or why that sounds anything like Paul Bunyan, but hey, kids would read it. Kids are dumb. One more thing I've thought about recently on the topic of my dad was our Jeep when we were kids. It stalled out a lot, and it was an okay car, but its best feature was the seats. My brother and I used to use them to store our boogers. It had to have been worth millions and nose gold by then, so I can't imagine what he could have possibly gotten for it when he traded it in. This leads me to my theory on the purpose of pinky fingers. I would call it an evolutionary feature that their primary purpose is for picking your nose. Mine fits perfectly in my nostril, as it should. I'd write an essay on this for a medical journal, but that's really my entire statement. That's it. So, submit that to National Geographic or something. Magazine. You know, a thing. I'll leave you with one last thought to ponder. There was a video game for the PlayStation named 2Xtreme, spelled with the number 2 and then Xtreme. And it was a sequel. To what game? Well, you might think maybe Extreme or something, because it was the 90s and everything was extreme. But it's actually called 1Xtreme, which is a really terrible title. Or great, I don't know, because why would you call it 1Xtreme? Because it's one extreme game? It doesn't sound good, but why would you make the sequel's name better than the original game? I guess I'm a little late to make a rant about this, considering the game's 20-something years old at this point, but still, write in, tell the developers they need to re-release the games with better names, and things like 250 every time you jump over something. I mean, that was the best part of that game. That was it. Tune in for our next episode where I tell you the tale of the lurker jerker from when I was in community college, and more dumb quotes from my dad, and even more senseless ramblings. Alright, thank you. Thank you for listening to the first episode of The Unrefined Jagoff, recorded in my bedroom with cheap equipment. Music by Satan's Basement. Support is from my day job, poor decisions, and listeners only so far. No sponsors yet, but please support the arts, humanities, public broadcast, and most importantly, each other. Don't be dicks to each other. Show empathy. Be a good person where it counts. Thank you, and goodbye for now.